And we're back with our guest, Gary Knight, CEO of Wolf. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome. It's lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too. Tell us more about Wolf. Give us a little brief about it for people who don't know it.
Of course, yeah. So the Wolf stands for the World's Online Festival, and it's a performance metaverse-based experience built specifically for Arabic users. And fundamentally, it's a 24/7 world of communities and rooms for people to have entertainment and chat and fun and friendship. And the concept of the World's Online Festival really came from both my co-founder Martin and myself, are big festival fans. And you think about festivals and go to festivals, you step outside of your real world,
100%.
out of your real life, and you go, and there may be main acts that you want to go and see. But also, it's all about finding new acts and new performers taking place, but also going and hanging out with your friends and just stepping away from normal life, maybe meeting new friends, etc. And so we took all that concept, well, wouldn't that be a fantastic thing if you could put that in your phone and always have it with you and have that experience that's always there rather than maybe going to a festival
100%.
Once or twice a year. And that really is the concept of the World's Online Festival.
And it's very interesting, I think, in the region as well, because festivals usually have a season because of the weather and things like that. So now with the metaverse and online, I think we can have it all year long,
That's
right?
exactly the concept, isn't it? And things like Middle Beast have become huge very quickly. It's like Glastonbury back in the UK that you would know of. But it's always a bit of a challenge in that, okay, well, there's one event or maybe two events in a year. Huge infrastructure takes place and it goes and takes place for a few days and it's fantastic. And then come back next year or what have you. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for okay, it's always there, you can always go and take part. And I guess the biggest difference is the ecosystem of how Wolf is built. It's all about the user. So you're part of it, Hala. You can be part of the festival. You can be the performer. If you want to manage the thing, you can go and actually own a group and bring users into your little metaverse experience, or you can help build stages, digitally and assets, or you can be in the audience and take part, or you can go and befriend, or you can gift. And so there's a whole sort of ecosystem that takes part that actually puts the user at the heart of what we do. And I guess the biggest part of Wolf is all about users having that opportunity to get up on stage and perform to a audience of thousands, and that's a tough thing to do.
That's beautiful on so many levels, because for talents, like for instance singers, things like that, like if they want to participate, there's a higher chance maybe doing that in the metaverse rather than in real life.
Absolutely.
There are so many struggles maybe and challenges. And another thing is like other people who actually want to take part of the event and just like for instance manage or do anything like that. So can you tell us more, how can people do that? Is there a certain criteria? Do they apply? How does it go, the process?
Yeah, so it's a free app. You download, you go, and you can choose however you want to use the app and be part of. But fundamentally, you choose a group, either start a group yourself or go and be part of a group. And then from there, you chat, have friends, you can play games.
Nice.
And then if you want to, you can get on stage and go and perform. And then if you want to go and actually manage and produce shows, you can go and do that as well. And then if you're a particularly good performer, you can become part of our Wolf Stars program. And that is for entertainers in our app who want to actually develop their skills and actually build their profile, and actually there's numerous different benefits you can take out of that. So you can build your profile, you can have 3D videos of your performances that you can share across other social media, so you can build your profile outside of the app. For our better performers, you can also monetize and earn for your skills and your performances, etc. And some of our guys who have started in Wolf and developed their apps, we've actually helped take place and actually have professional songs that have actually been released and have gone on and have videos and been on TV and radio talking about how they have become real world stars, beginning from that sort of metaverse experience. So that's a really interesting thing. And one of the things we're also looking at doing at the moment, working with a couple of partners in Saudi actually, is looking at building a Wolf Star studio, so real world studios like to be in Jeddah, where users can actually come and start performing and get the ability to lay down your track, or it might not be songs, it may be poetry, it may be playing music, it may be DJing, whatever your skill set is. But the ability to have that in the real world, that's great, and you can learn that. But then coming into Wolf, you then have the opportunity to go and perform to thousands of people. That's a tough thing for any young performer who's starting off. How do you get an audience of thousands? And that's what the sort of metaverse experience allows you to do.
But that's interesting also that you entered also the Saudi market. So can you tell us more about that? How did you enter the Saudi market and how did you see it? Because there's a huge transition there.
Yeah, absolutely. So The World's Online Festival was built and released in 2020. Actually, the heritage and some of the technology that we used for that was from a previous chat app called Poweringo, which was our parent company. And Poweringo's chat experience had been successful in Saudi, so we had that heritage as to one of the reasons why Saudi was our sort of core target market to start with, because we already had a community there that we could go and use. And then you're absolutely right. I think not just Saudi, but across the GCC region, we work hard to listen to our users and understand what they want, which is one of the reasons we built World's Online Festival, but also the trends towards diversifying away from traditional industries into performance and entertainment based, and we sort of understood that, and the ability to provide young people the ability to have performance and building entertainment. As I say, that's not an easy thing necessarily to do. And so that's something we absolutely are very keen to be aligned with World's Online Festival. And it's one of the reasons why I'm here today and this week in Dubai to come and talk about how we can launch Wolf here to really get the content creators of UAE to come and be part of the app and the experience that you can have.
Why did you choose UAE?
The UAE is an obvious next step for us. So as you say, we're well established in Saudi and numerous different GCC regions, and we do have users from the UAE. But I think what is very clear from the UAE, and particularly out of Dubai, is the content creator and the sort of influencer society. There's a huge amount of creativity that takes place here, and we would like to welcome that to come take place in our app. And one of the number one things we're here to do, we have an event tomorrow, is to actually come and launch our new Wolf VR experience. And so within our app, you can consume the app on your phone, which is really important because everyone has a phone, so you have the scaling, right? You can consume it on your browser and on your Mac that you have in front of you there, but also with launching our first demo of it tomorrow, you're going to have an ability to put on a VR headset and have a really enhanced experience of putting that on and getting the feel of being on stage. So I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. I'd love to be Dave Grohl up on stage and performing, but it's unlikely to happen. I can't play the guitar, I can't sing.
You never know.
Well, I've got a pretty good idea about my talents, and performing creativity is not one of them. But, that experience of being on stage and actually being able to see thousands of avatars in the crowd, really sort of loving what I'm doing, and if they really love what I'm doing, they can gift me and they can interact with me, etc. That sort of opportunity for content creators is really interesting, and so that's what we're launching this week. And I think that is an interesting fit for the creativity that takes place here in the UAE. So that's very much why we're here and starting to launch that now.
And as you said, the creator economy, it's just increasing and growing day by day, honestly. And especially we're seeing here a lot in the region. Yeah. But also what's interesting about this transition from events in real life to the metaverse and also VR and everything, the cost part, it's like, you're giving talents for sure opportunities that they might not get in real life, but also the cost part of launching an event in real life, it's huge.
It's tough.
So how much are you saving?
It's tough.
Literally, it's very tough.
Absolutely, and that's the opportunity it gives you, and you can be at home. And one thing to make very clear about the World's Online Festival, it's an audio experience. So it's not a video, so it's not yourself or myself where the screen's on you. You can have a 3D version of yourself, so you have 3D versions of your audio 2D avatars, if that makes some sense. But what that allows you to do is that anyone can go and perform. And this is really important, and particularly actually for women users that we talk to across the region, is that I want to perform, but I want to be judged on my acts and my skills. I don't necessarily want to, I need to go and put my makeup on and get ready or whatever, wear whatever I'm going to be, and I need to be judged about what I look like, etc. I want to go and perform, but I want to be who I want to be. And so that concept of having a 2D avatars in 3D worlds works really well from that point of view because, there's no blocker. You can get into the app for free, you can go and perform, as long as you want to get on stage and you can go and have a go. That's all it requires. Even
culture-wise, there are so many females maybe that they don't want to be out there as well. So that is perfect for them.
Exactly, yeah. And obviously, when we sort of launched the World's Online Festival, it was looking at three sort of trends, I guess. One was the whole Web 3.0 piece, right? So people, users started off Web 1.0 was come and read the internet and consume. Then 2.0 was much more around content creators and making content. Yeah. 3.0 is much then about content creators, but then owning the content and being able to monetize and actually be at the heart of the actual experience. So that's where kind of users want to go. So there's that. Then there's the concept of where the metaverse is going. Yeah. Now, I'm not trying to build something that's going to compete with Mr. Zuckerberg and Meta, right? You know, there's this one world, an open world that everyone is in. Whether that happens, yeah, who knows? That's a long way off. But having mini metaverse room experiences that people can get to from numerous different devices, as I talked about, that kind of makes sense. But I don't want to do something that's just a VR experience, because it'll be a long time since everyone has VR headsets, particularly in region, right? So that would minimise the market. And then if you're performing, everyone has to have a VR headset, then you won't have thousands of people. So it's an enhanced experience. So how do we build that? And then the third piece was all around our users and what we learned from them. You're absolutely right. It was, well, okay, we want to be able to come and perform, but we don't want to be judged on where we are. And one of the key pieces of feedback from our users, and we saw with some apps, in video apps, is often the video is pointed at the wall. Yeah. And actually the performer will be sat to the side, singing or providing the poetry or playing the oud, whatever it may be, because, well, I'm not comfortable with you know, having my piece there. And that's something that's particularly across female performers that we heard about. And so that's really developed further. And actually, we've had a Women's Talent Festival that we've run now twice over the last 2 years. And so the last time around we ran in March, we had 1,300 women across the region coming and auditioning to be part of the Talent Festival that then sort of went through auditions and went through stages and got to a grand final and 3 winners. And it's fantastic to see not just women, but anyone who wants to have the ability to get into the app and take part, can actually develop from nowhere to be finalists and win out and be part of the WolfStars program. And suddenly you have a profile and you're a performer and you can earn money and you can start building and developing your acts. And
that gives them the confidence as well. That's the first push maybe for them, and then they will grow. But also, what are the challenges that you faced in this journey?
The challenges, well, I guess there's 2 things. One is technically. So, the current foundation of what we're working on is great, but we've gone from building a chat app, which requires a certain thing, to building a festival. So if you think about it in the real world, that's you're going from a room where people can hang out to somewhere where, okay, you want entertainment. And also we're building an extra level of technology here because we are having a virtual reality environment that you can be in. So firstly is making a seamless experience with the technology and making it happen. And then the second piece, I guess, is, okay, well, then you need to acquire users, of course, and bring users in and get that infrastructure of the economy correct. And we're moving forward with that, and that's great. But again, there's challenges around how do you make sure that your content creators are getting the right experience alongside the community who want to be in place having friendship and chat, and how that fits together and making sure everyone plays their part in the right way. And then our monetization of the app is built around user-generated gifting and buying things for their rooms and their groups. And so making sure that fits well as we change the experience and move forward in the app. Those are the 2 things. So it's the technology piece and then making sure the user experience is correct.
Technology is always can be tricky, especially if it's based on technology, because what if throughout an event a bug happens or something, and it could.
Of course it does. Of course it does. I mean, that happens, right? No matter how many times you sort of practice and experiment with it, when you start there'll be some sort of challenge initially, right? But we're very fortunate. We've got a really strong foundation that the app is built on. Of course, there's bugs, and we're always developing and improving the app, and that always brings with technical challenges. But that's just part of the sort of 100%. Life of the industry we work in, isn't it? Yeah, and it's part of the journey, I believe. What about your future plans for World's Online Festival? I think the future plan is all about aggressively growing our platform. We've done great in kicking off in 2020. We've had now around 3 million users come in and take part in Wolf as our audience. Now it's around building out our content creator experience, building more content creators into the app, and then making sure we are building that audience piece out and going across the region. We are very specifically built towards the GCC, so although my headquarters is in the UK, I have a regional group here, which my regional headquarters is actually in Jordan, but we also then have people who work with us contracting across all our GCC states as well. So it's developing that out, making sure our user experience is absolutely right, and really developing out so that the World's Online Festival becomes known by everyone in the region, and everyone who wants to perform gets the opportunity, but also everyone who wants to have fun and hang out with cool people, well, Wolf's the place that you should be. Definitely. How important it is, even though the office is in the UK, let's say, but to localize it and to have people on ground, for instance, especially with the cultural differences in the market, right? Hugely important. Yeah. Of course course it is, and I'm very aware of that. Right, so as an old white guy based in the UK coming over and building an app for young Arab users, I get it. What do I know? It's a completely different culture. You guys, read in a different direction than we do. So there's a very different thing that's going on. So hugely important, and most of my leadership and management team around the user experience and how the app is moving forward, etc., is based in region. So that was one of the things that when I started working with the business a number of years ago, we put a lot of assets and resourcing into making sure that actually, whilst we have some of the core technology piece that is based back in the UK, the user experience and what we provide for our users and how that is done, that is fundamentally run out of our team, as I say, based in Jordan. But then I understand, also know that even being based in Jordan isn't necessarily full expertise of GCC regions, and then you even have cultural differences within countries, right? So we have a core local team, and then we have our consultants who work across in every country to try and ensure we are as localized and as appropriate as possible.
It's very, very important, very interesting, and essential at the same time.
Very much so.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gary, and best of luck in the event tomorrow.
Thank you very much for having me along. It was really nice to meet you.
Thank you.